everybody and welcome back. I hope you are doing really well. A massive thank you for us reaching 50,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I am so grateful to all of you that have followed me, subscribed to me, stuck by me. This year has not been easy for anybody and I feel like my content might have sort of struggled a little bit, but to have you guys here with me is amazing. Today I'm going to be doing a parenting Q&A. I was getting a lot of questions here and there about parenting and I just felt, well, let's do a parenting Q&A, and so I left it up to you to ask me a few questions here and over on Instagram. Now, if you have been following me for a while, you will know that I have done a few parenting videos in the past, and I have also done a parenting video with Jessica from Jessica Out of the Closet, so make sure you go and check that one out if you haven't already. But that was in the early days, long time ago, and now Jessica and her wife are expecting their first baby, so massive congratulations to you and Claudia if you're watching. As you know, Daisy is now almost 12. She's going to be 12 in a few weeks' time. So she's at high school. So we've really sort of changed from like the early years in primary, and now I've got a teenager on my hand. So what journey that will entail, I don't know. But any tips, any books, any advice on parenting a teen, I'd be very interested, because at the moment I'm feeling a bit unprepared. Okay, so let's get started and I will answer some of your questions, and hopefully I can find some footage or some old photos of me and DB. So with my pregnancy, I got pregnant naturally and I had a planned cesarean section, which I was really happy about. And I was a bit worried. I just don't think that my body would have been able to have coped with labour. So I was really happy, had no qualms about having a section. Obviously it takes longer to heal, and I was very weak because they cut sort of like all my core muscles for a good few weeks afterwards, but luckily Sean was amazing and helped me. When I was pregnant I was absolutely tiny. When I left my work to go on maternity leave, I was like, bye, I'm off on maternity leave now. People were like, why? I was like, oh, because I'm pregnant. So transferring and getting around in my wheelchair wasn't that much of an issue. I did feel a little bit heavier towards the end in the last trimester and a bit breathless and uncomfortable, but on the whole I can't really complain about that. And I think what you've got to remember is when you are a disabled person, pregnancy, I didn't find it to hinder me that much. I mean, the sickness was horrendous, but we're disabled. We've got this, we know how to adapt. And really, I didn't find it hindered me in any way. How did I change DB? Well, I actually had her on this little footstool here. I would put a change mat on there, transfer onto the floor and change her on there. That way I wasn't leaning right over and hurting my back. But obviously once they become too big and they start to roll, you can't do that. So I just had to suffer and do it on the floor. I made sure that I had everything to hand, so I duplicated a lot of items. So I made sure that I had like a nappy station upstairs and a nappy station downstairs, clothes upstairs, clothes downstairs, everything everywhere. So everything was to hand and I didn't have to leave the baby unattended and go upstairs, or you know, all of those kind of things, and was able to save on my spoons in that respect.
Oh, here she is.
Did you go to places by yourself? Yes, we did and we do. But when Daisy was little, she had a car seat that kind of swiveled, which I highly recommend. And from day dot, I made sure that she could walk as soon as she possibly could. And she would hold on to the back of my wheelchair or sit on my lap, and we would go out for little lunches. I made sure we'd go to places like malls or like big superstores with lots of parking, toilets and accessibility. So we would often like toddle up to Marks and Spencer and have a little coffee and a cake in there and look around just to get out of the house. We also attended a lot of mother and baby groups, and I highly recommend that you do that if and when, you know, the time comes, of course. But they honestly helped me a lot. I didn't quite feel myself for the first year of having Daisy, and I do question as to whether I had a bit of postnatal depression. Nothing too serious, but looking back, I was definitely not quite right and not quite myself. But going out to mother and baby groups, or father and baby groups, really helped me a lot to make connections, to talk with other mums, not feel so alone. And you know, you've got to think, when people are taking their babies to a place, they're going to be taking a pram. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to be able to take your wheelchair if you can take a pram in there. Not always, but quite often mother and baby groups do tend to be quite accessible. People have been asking me like what I do when I go out and crossing the street, and what do I do, or what did I do when Daisy had a temper tantrum and ran off or something like that. And don't ask me how or why. I was just so lucky she never ran away from me and never had a tantrum and threw herself on the floor while we were out in public. I did have a little lead attached to my wheelchair that she could hold on to, so she felt secure. She also held onto the back bar at the back of my wheelchair, which was super cute, and she sat on my lap. And I think the last time she sat on my lap was in Disney, and she actually caused bruising on my lap, so she's definitely too big now. But yeah, I was just so lucky that she never ran away from me. But I did have a special voice that I would use only if I felt like she was in danger, and it would be enough to kind of shock her and stop her. And I think maybe I used it. I actually can't pinpoint a time, but yeah, I just was really lucky. I'll tell you what else I used to do as well. She absolutely loved dressing up and being really glamorous. And she loved little high-heeled shoes, like for kids obviously, the little shoe that made clippy cloppy sound, so that when we went out I could hear her. If she was behind me, I could hear her clopping around behind me. This is a great question. If she falls, how do you deal with it? And it can be so hard, because like if I am in one area of like a park or something and then she is to fall over the other side, it takes me ages to get there, and you know, she's like crying with a bloody knee, tears all down her face, and I'm like, I'm coming, and you just want to be there for her. And so it can be really hard to get close to her like other parents can. And if she's fallen in the past, I have been able to kind of pick her up, but it's hard to get to places fast, if you know what I mean. But again, she doesn't know any different, and when I have been in those situations, you know, really nice other mums will come over and say, you know, are you okay? Where's your mummy? I'm sure she's coming, kind of thing. So that's really nice. So this is a great question about the school run and how did I manage with the school run. And also Daisy went to nursery or play school as well. Now I have to say my experiences were fantastic. People were really helpful. The ladies at the play school would come out and get Daisy for me and take her across the road into the play school, so I didn't have to leave my car, and they'd bring her out to me. With school, they were really fantastic as well. I was able to drive into the school car park where the teachers park and wait for Daisy there, and someone would bring her out to me. And then when she got old enough, she was able just to go in and out on her own, and they were able to see me and let her get into the car. So it definitely gets a lot easier as they get older. And another question that I get is, how do Daisy's friends react and how do parents react? And again, I have been very lucky. From what I've heard from Daisy and when we have spoken about it, her friends haven't treated her any differently. I think sometimes you get the odd friend who will say some sort of comment just to kind of test her and push her, but I've really helped her to be strong, and I've given her sort of like the tools and ideas and things to say to kind of help her in those situations, to maybe educate her friends a bit more. But yeah, on the whole, people have been really, really good. With parents as well, very good. I haven't really had any bad experiences, and my friends have been fantastic and have always helped, you know, like putting Daisy in and out of the car or helping me get to places. I have had the odd here or there thing where people have organised something that's not 100% accessible, and the odd sort of comments here and there, but I just think people don't necessarily think before they speak, and if anything has really, really upset me, then I haven't seen those people again. Has asked, has Daisy ever missed out on any activities because of me being disabled? And I think the only party that she missed was someone's party, and that's because I forgot and I felt absolutely horrendous, and they called me up and they were like, oh, is Daisy coming? And I was like, oh my god, I felt so guilty. Look, it's still eating me up to this day, and it was like 5-6 years ago. Again, I've been really, really lucky if I haven't been able to go to a certain event. Either Sean has taken Daisy or another parent has taken her. I know that there was a barbecue at someone's house that was on a hill, and I think someone dropped her off for me and picked her up for me. And again, when we've had like pool parties or anything that's been really, really outdoorsy, because quite a lot of her friends had parties in the woods, and that was the days before I had my BATEC, Sean would take her and I would just look at the photos afterwards. And I try not to think about it too much, beat myself up too much about it, or get too upset about it. It is what it is, I can't change it. You know, that child wants to have their party in the woods, and at the time those woods weren't accessible for me. But my god, I attend everything else I possibly can. So I think it's really, really important not to beat yourself up when it's out of your control and there's nothing you can do about it. You would be able to cope if you were a single parent. I think, you know, when these situations are thrown at you, what can you do? You don't have a choice, you just have to make it work. It's like,
oh my god, if I ever found myself in a wheelchair, I'd have to kill myself.
well, we don't have an option really, do we? We've just got to get on with it, and you just muddle on through, and it's, you know, what makes us us. I really think I would have found it extremely difficult, really, really hard, and I would have had to have had help. I don't think I could have done it completely on my own.
Smile, girlfriend. You're miserable. We're filming.
Yeah, so I think if I was a single parent, it would be really hard, and I think single parents do an amazing job, disabled or not. But yeah, parenting is not easy, it's hard. Someone has asked, do you think DB's knowledge of disability has spread to her classmates? And I would really like to hope so. I know Daisy follows me on Instagram and TikTok, and obviously she lives through it with me, you know, all of the ableist things that I come up against in life. So she deals with it almost firsthand, but it's like almost normal for her, like that she doesn't know a life not with a disabled mum. And I was really proud of her the other day because her classmates had to make a poster on prejudices, I think. And you could choose to do sort of like homophobic, Black Lives Matter, something else, and the last one was ableism. And out of her whole class of 30, just her and another person did a poster on ableism, and she brought it home to show me, and I was so proud of her for doing that, because I thought she might have followed all of her friends and chosen something else. So I really think and really hope that her knowledge will spread and she will become a great ally for us. So I hope this video has answered some of your questions. If you have got any other questions that you would like to ask, feel free to drop them down below. I know I may have covered some of these questions in the past, but hopefully I have touched upon some new aspects of parenting as well. Make sure to go and check out my other videos after this one. Thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Thank you for watching. Bye!